Hello, my friends, and welcome. Happy Thursday from Lynn at EJG'S. We are so happy to have you here with us today. Let me switch us around. Yesterday we had kind of a situation with our internet. It was a total freezing on Facebook, freezing on YouTube.
We had a false start also.
Had a false start, so we're here fresh as a daisy today on Thursday to share more new Pentart techniques. So welcome in. Say hello when you get here. Let us know where you're watching from. And let us know what you think of these new products if you've gotten any of them yet. We are a little brick and mortar shop here in Medina, New York, halfway between Buffalo and Rochester. Stop by if you happen to be in the area. We would love to meet you in person. You can also find us at lnjgoods.com and on all of our socials, Facebook, Instagram, YouTube. YouTube, we stream live twice a week. This just happens to be our second. We've had a messed up week because we've been out of town. So I am just glad you're here.
Don't forget to join our free insider group if you're not there. That's like the best place to be.
That's on YouTube.
It's pinned. It's the pinned comment on Facebook. You can find a link to it there. You just request to join. It's also linked in the description on YouTube.
Yeah, Megan's here with us today behind the scenes. So yeah, we had a couple of great days in Ohio. We did a wonderful retreat there, and now we're back home and ready to get into it again.
Yes.
So let me switch that camera down. I'm going to take you for a ride for just a second. You're going to see, woo, here we go. Now, let's see what we have been working on starting last week. Let me get this lined up a little better, and because otherwise it will literally drive me crazy. So thank you for bearing with me for a second. There we go. That's a little bit better. All right. Praying I don't bump it. Okay, so last week we talked about these wonderful new Pentart products that, and we're featuring a few different products every week, and ultimately want to culminate in a furniture product because that's what I'm most excited about with all of the stuff here. So this is what we did last week. We used the cracking plaster. Okay, this is cracking plaster. And each of these is identified by this Pentacolor wall decor. And I'm going to explain why it's wall decor and furniture decor in a bit. And this is the cracking plaster. Okay, it comes in two sizes. We can also get it in even bigger sizes, which I think I'm going to need the even bigger size for me. So we had already laid a base for each of these pieces here. We did them together last week. And I want you to see how different it is than the cracking paste. They are wider, bigger cracks, just like would be appropriate on a wall. You wouldn't want teeny tiny little cracks on here, right? And also the cracking paste and the loft plaster and the spackle paste are all loft spackle and
structure
plaster are all formulated specifically for walls and decor because they're very lightweight, airy, fluffy, lofty, and those are all things we want to put on a t-shirt. We said. All right, so that's why they're different than anything else that Pentart has out there. And I think they do cracking and crackles the very best of anything I've ever seen. So I'm excited about this. Now, we had already, last week I shared how we did an inlay over the cracking plaster and then added some aging and so forth. But isn't that beautiful? This is beautiful. It has such a great old look to it. I want to do like 3 of these to hang together. I think they'd be beautiful.
That's the Portofino inlay.
It is the Portofino inlay, yes. Then we practiced some over. This was like paint, and I think there's some IOD transfers under there, and we just kind of put it on randomly here, and that's what we have. So we're gonna play with the metallic lasers on this as well. We did this piece, which was the top of, I don't know, a furniture piece maybe, but I love the shape of it. And we did this cracking plaster together. Then I went ahead and I added our Felicity molds here. And then we added the Victoria letters here. Just a very quick little sidebar about the Victoria letters. That is a mold that is going out of stock. It's going to be discontinued. It will no longer be produced by IOD. So I would encourage you, if you don't have it, get it. It's a wonderful typography. It's got little branchy, viney things. I've used this so many times on garden type things or on Halloween. This looks really twiggy and fallish. It can be used in so many ways. And then what I do is I'll pour all of that, all of my resin into my mold, scrape it back so that I'm filling all the letters. And then I keep a little bead box to keep them all for whenever I need them. So that's pretty cool. Just wanted you to be aware of that. Because once it's gone, it's gone. And so we glued all of these castings in place. We're going to work with the lasers with this as well. Then is this piece, which gave me a little bit of a headache. Remember, it felt like it was kind of crooked, and I had all kinds of issues going on. So I did a few things to kind of compensate for some of the mistakes that I made. When I decoupaged my piece down, I knew that I was going to use the Vivarium stencil. That's our EJG'S Vivarium stencil over top of this Decoupage Queen rice paper. This is called Tuscan Villa. But what I did is I put that down, and what I should have done is I should have traced out the area where I wanted the decoupage paper to show, and then what it did is it came up beyond here. So I've done a few things to this. I don't know if you can see that. I have added, and I will continue to add with you guys, some other paint colors to this to show you how paint goes over this. And I really wanted to create another really old world, old style look to this. One of the other ways that I wanted to kind of fool the eye, and I don't know if you can see it, but I took the Decoupage Queen Quatrefoil stencil, and I used the structure plaster to just put some random, not entirely random, but I wanted to kind of balance this out a little bit to hopefully draw from that unevenness. So I have a few little areas of that. These are totally going to show up as we apply our lasers. So why don't we get started? I'm using, this is Fusion's Victorian lace, and I think I left our JRV plaster paint in the sink.
Do you mind if I take a minute to let people know where they can find things before you
start
listing anything
else? I'm
else
just going to go ahead and take a scruffy old brush, and I'm really kind of dry brushing just to add some other color to this. I don't want that paint to sink too much into the cracks. because we want those to show up a little bit later.
Do you need me to get that paint for you before I
talk
about that?
Yeah, could you?
Okay.
So I use Victorian lace because it's a little bit of it's an off-white and it's kind of pretty. And it gives me a really, I'm going to use this along with the color of the cracking plaster. And then I'm going to add some other color to this. We really want a very decayed look to this, all right? So, and we're going to begin to see some of this revealed. Let's talk about how with this, truly, I could go right over this with my lasers and get some good blendability, and I should be able to work with that well with this. Where with the cracking paste, it tends to be a little more, I don't want to say porous, but it absorbs those pigments quicker and faster, so it doesn't go on as evenly. I usually, with the paste, I would have to put a top coat over it and then use my antiquing gels or waxes. So with this, it is nicely workable with the lasers and glazes right over top of the cracking plaster, which is wonderful. So I'm just going to add just a little bit here. I don't need to. This is just our sample piece. But this is the JRV Cottage Colors. We just released those this week. If you have not checked those out, I did a video on YouTube showing how I used all 5 colors on metal. And this has a built-in top coat as well. And it, it's so lovely. And I liked the way that, I liked the color of it on here as a little bit of a background. So I'm gonna just use some of this, and again I'm just gonna randomly kind of brush that on just to give me a little more depth and dimension, and then we'll let that dry. Go ahead, Megan.
Okay, you can find everything Mom is using today in a collection I created. It has the same name as today's live and the same date as today's live. It's linked in the description up above if you're watching on Facebook, down below if you're watching on YouTube, or you can go to lnjgoods.com and look for the menu item featured on our live tutorials. If you are watching on a mobile device, you'll look for the 3 little lines up in the left-hand corner of your page. Click on that and look for that menu item. If you're watching on a computer, it's going to be right at the top of your page. And if you have any questions, you can email me, info@lnjgoods.com, or just call the shop. The phone number is there on the website, lnjgoods.com.
Beautiful. That was quick and easy.
I think so.
Yeah.
That's the idea.
Yes. So let me put the lids back on these so I don't have a mishap. Of course I'll have a mishap.
Please don't.
Because that is just the nature of me.
I'd like to do a live all about those paints too.
About mishaps?
No, about the cottage colors.
You know what you could also do for me, Megan?
I can't imagine.
Left my little water bucket back there that I had filled for our...
I need to get a walkie-talkie for Augie.
I know, seriously, right? We could text him. Augie's in the background packing orders and learning all the things to do with our orders going out. Okay, so we'll let this dry a bit, and in fact, I'm going to give it a very quick little blast.
Augie has an art show tomorrow.
He does, I know.
It's exciting.
I mean, it dries that quickly. I I hope we have some folks joining us today.
Yes, lots of friends
Good.
are here.
All right. Now, the other feature that I wanted to share with you about these wall decor products, wall and furniture and decor products, is that you can easily sand them. You can knock back any hard surfaces or give it a smoother finish along edges. And I love that. I just love that we have that feature. It's going to, even though I want my piece to look like it's rather destroyed and aged and so forth, I do want to have a somewhat smooth area, like especially on my stencil here, to apply those lasers.
Why are they called lasers?
I don't know. Okay, and then here where I had applied the modeling or the structure plaster, I can smooth that out a little bit. Oh, that feels good. And it's just going to knock back any sharp edges or hard edges that might otherwise not feel so good to your fingers if you were to rub over them. And it still remains that beautiful textured effect, but it just smooths out that surface just a touch. Gosh, I love these. So they dry to a super hard and durable finish, but they're extremely lightweight. Okay.
Such a cool texture.
It's so great. I'm so excited to begin to add the lasers. Okay, that feels pretty good. All right, so we'll set that aside to dry. We're going to start on a practice board because that is what we do when we're using new products.
Hold on one second. August. You probably can't hear me. Lots of people are asking what kind of art he does, and I would love for him to answer that himself.
Could he come up here and explain?
Yes, he won't. I'm sure he won't go on camera. But
Oh, no, that's
he'll
okay.
come answer.
August is graduating in
Can
a
you
few
come here for a sec?
weeks with his graphic arts degree. I'm going to take some of these out and show you the colors that we decided on that we're going to use.
But everyone's asking what kind of art you do. So can you just answer that question? Okay, they should be able to hear you on my mic. So what kind of art do you do?
So one of my pieces in the show is a sculpture I did. It's made of bronze. It's a monkey, 2 monkey statues. And then the second piece I have is a King of Kaiju editorial that I made for a class that I redesigned. And I made a giant 30 by 50 printout of it, and it's displayed in the art museum.
So what were those 2 classes?
The sculpture one was sculpture and metal, and then the other one was typography 2 for my graphic design stuff.
And what will your degree be in? Because that will be the next question.
Graphic design.
Okay. Thank you
Thanks, Og.
for indulging us.
So I'm getting out my colors
Sorry.
here. I'm getting out my colors to show you, and we actually have more coming in. So there will be lots more to explore as well. Once I started using this, of course, I was a little conservative. But then once I got this and started using it, I was like, oh my gosh, I need everything in this product. So we have metallic lasers, and there's also There's also just wall lasers, which are or antique lasers, which are kind of like the antiquing gel, but we have a different variety of colors with those. And I know there's rust laser or rust antiquing lasers. There's all those, and we're going to be getting all of those.
To be continued.
To be continued.
You can show his business card if you want.
This is August.
He designed his business card. That was one of his projects.
He just got these today. Walked over to the print shop to pick them up.
But it has a cool texture. He's
Really
doing texture too.
awesome. Augie is doing texture. Love it, love it, love it. All right, so what do you say we try out these colors on our practice board? These are new products. They're new products to me. So I've done lots of different practices. Now we're going to practice together because when you're using a new product, you always want to make sure that you try on a practice board. Run a little scrap of something. If you're doing a big project like I did with the vivarium stencil, I would, so that I could kind of play around with my colors and decide what colors I want to use before I put them on here. What I would do is I would just go on and I would, on that practice board, kind of get an idea of what the colors are looking like for me. And that is going to give me some freedom to play, but not play on my final piece.
Okay, some questions.
Yes.
Okay, she's saying lasers. It's spelled Lasur. And someone else just said, I'm sorry, but what are lasers?
This is what we're doing right now. They are an antiquing medium that comes in metallics and matte finishes that are designed to be used with these products here.
I can actually read the description.
Yeah, go ahead, Megan.
That might be helpful, right?
They're water-based, so I can work with them on here to create some different effects.
Let's see.
And again, we're going for that crusty, aged kind of a look. This one is called Bronze.
Okay, here's the description. A gel-like material that is easy to apply and spread on the prepared surface with a brush, sponge, or paint roller. Wall lasers, when combined with each other or with wall paints, result in surfaces with a variety of color shades and are suitable as background colors and for highlighting patterns. Lasers can be wiped off or blended during application. Once dry, the decorated surface becomes water repellent.
Oh.
Dilution with water up to 10%.
Which is what I'm doing when I dip my brush into this water and then into the product. It's to thin it out just a touch, 10%, and that's because of those pigments. You don't want those pigments to separate.
And total drying time is 12 hours, because I know people will ask that.
Because it's a more durable product, that's why there's a longer drying time.
Look how pretty.
Okay, so you can do so many different things with these. You can allow it to just go right down into the cracks. You can wipe it back. You can tap it on. This is just the loft spackle up there. Okay, so that is called, I think this is bronze. This is fire gold, I'm pretty sure. Yes, this is fire gold and then bronze. I know that I'm going to use those two because they kind of go so well with the project that we're doing. This one is called antique copper. But because it's a more durable and then a waterproof finish, there is going to be a little cure time to it. And we appreciate that because we want to make sure that we have the best most durable result. So again, I am mixing my brush that has a little bit of water. That's what I'm using to dip into my laser. Oh, look at that.
Wow.
Plus, you don't want to dilute it too much because you lose that beautiful pigment and metallic. Oh my goodness. So you have some control over how these go on. And I'm sure it's probably a little hard to see here, but boy, there is some shimmer to that. It catches the light in just a certain way. And boy, is that pretty. Mm-hmm. So you can apply these also, like Megan said, with a roller. You can apply them with a sea sponge to get some cool effects. So a soft cloth. Yeah, we're going to use this.
There
bronze.
are different sizes of these products. Right now we're just carrying the 150 milliliter. If there is interest, it does come also in the 500 milliliter size. Can you use these with other Pentart cracking mediums, or is it specific to these wall products?
Oh, no, of course you can. Yes, you can use these other than with the fine line crackle. Okay, because these are water-based. You don't want to use these on your fine line crackle that has not been sealed already with a solvent-based finish.
Melissa asked if you could hold one up to the camera so you can see the label, and just do it slowly because that way because sometimes it goes out of focus. I'll give you a link to one too, Melissa, that way, because the label's pretty clear on when you look at it on the website.
Do we see that?
Oh, hold on, because I'm on a delay. Let me see.
There it is.
Can you, like, right now it looks blurry to me, but maybe it focuses in. Can you see on here if it's focused?
It looks focused.
Oh, there we go.
Yep.
Focused in. Yep, there you go.
Okay, and then what I'm going to do is I'm going to show you.
That whole description I read and the label is really nice and clear on the website.
Look at that. Oh my gosh, that is beautiful. It's going to take just a second to get back down here. Let me come down just.
Look who's here. It's Margaritaville.
Hey, Joe. How are you? Our friend.
Colleen says, after this dried, it'd be cool to stamp images over the top. Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, Karen says laser means stain or glaze.
Well,
Mom
look
and I
at
were
that.
wondering.
Thank you so much, Karen. Okay, so there it is. We're going on with that straight gold. Okay, we can leave it, or we can create a little transparency. Oh my gosh. Wow. Look at that. These colors are gorgeous together. Every one of them. Look at those, you guys. Oh, so pretty. Let's do a couple of fancier colors here. It's not going to look right on this, but see now by doing this, I know that I want to use the gold, the antique bronze. I want to use the fire gold. I think there's a copper. Is the copper coming or?
Red copper
Should
be coming in the next order.
Man, that red copper is so beautiful. But it's okay. We'll take it slow, you guys. And nope, that's my bronze. We're just going to take this slow and easy. This one is silver. Oh my gosh, they are so highly pigmented. Oh my gosh. And they're like a gel, which is so cool. I just wet my brush. Let's put some of this up here. Again, these don't all go together, but I do want you to see the effect that you can get. So you can roll that, you can just brush that straight on. or you can wipe it back for a very subtle effect. Oh my word. And it's just shimmer. Can you see it shimmer? I can see it in the light now. Let me know if you see that gold shimmering. See that?
Mm-hmm.
And then there's the silver.
Can you use this with IOD transfers?
Yeah.
I would imagine because it has like
It's
a
water-based.
top coat, yeah.
Mm-hmm. It's water-based.
Does it come in a shade of green? There's like a green silver, right?
There's a green silver. There's also, it's called, well, this is blue gold. I think there's a green, is there a green silver or green
I thought
gold
there was a green
coming?
silver. Do we not have
That's
that?
just silver. I don't know if we do.
If we don't have it now, it's coming.
Oh, yeah, this is green silver. I just used it.
That,
But we
oh,
also
this-
have a regular silver. Yeah. Here's the regular silver. That was green silver. And now I can see those greenish tones in there. See that, you guys? Oh, so pretty. Then this is the regular silver.
Billy says, I even like the combination of the colors together. Something stamped over the top would be very pretty.
It would be so pretty. I'm just going to use what's on the lid here and wipe it on. I mean, look at, you could even just over the surface,
Wow.
like look
Just
at that.
straight up.
Yeah, like how pretty. So it's for you to just play with as
Would
you
you
like.
ever mix this with, let's say, DIY or Pentart paint?
What do you mean by mix with it? I wouldn't combine it in this. I wouldn't mix this, like mix it together with DIY paint. You could try it. I mean, I guess I'm open to say, hey, whatever, just try whatever you want. I don't know.
Karen says, are you supposed to thin with water or apply full strength or either? It says you can dilute up to 10% with water.
Yep.
So Mom was diluting just with a little bit of water in the beginning, but you see that she also just put it on full strength, and that's really cool too.
Yep. And look see how it kind of went down into those cracks, those big cracks right there. So
Did you use this one yet?
Not yet.
Oh, I'm dying to see that, of course.
Me too.
Shocker.
So this one is called Blue Gold. Let's open up this one. Oh my gosh.
Oh, yes, Billy. She's saying with fairy stamps and fairy houses and dragonflies with these as a background. Great idea.
Look at
What
that.
a great idea, Billy. I'm just picturing even like Hidden Hollow somehow in the mix.
Oh my gosh. It could be total just fantasy-ish. Look at that blue.
You showed me something that someone made, like was it a christening plaque or something? That was
Oh
so
my
beautiful.
gosh.
But
Joanne Sykes.
something like that style, but with like these whimsical like things, metallics laying over those molds, you know?
Like if you're a fan of, that fairy fantasy
Yes, could
kind
look
of,
so cool.
unicorns and rainbows and all of that would be beautiful,
Oh yes.
wouldn't it?
But even just like, the toadstool mold and that Hidden Hollow.
Oh my
and
gosh.
all of that, but all just like a mix of
Oh,
these
when that
colors
red
over the
copper
top.
comes, when the red copper
Yes.
comes on the toadstool mold.
Like you wouldn't even have to specifically paint each item, just like all of this like different blend of colors washed over the top.
I know.
Could be very cool. Great idea, Billy.
So it dries pretty quickly.
Yes, Karen said you could thin them down to make them almost like a watercolor paint for fairies, butterflies.
However, we don't want
10%.
10% with
Yes.
water. These are not meant to